Hello, everyone, and welcome to Holy Cinema, the podcast where we talk about movies and we talk about Jesus because we love both of them. My name is David. I'm here with my co-host Grant, and we are ready to get started today.
Actually, yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're sorry. We're sorry.
Yes, we're late.
We had a little scheduling conflict, so we missed a week, but, we'll fix it. Yeah. We'll do something.
We'll get on there. We'll have some episodes recorded in advance. That way we don't have this happen again. We do apologize for that. But we did want to go ahead and introduce... actually, we have our first special guest today. What? We have a special guest.
There's 3 people now?
Yes, there is, and he's in here. This is Josh. Josh loves... Actually, you know what? I'll just let him tell you about himself. Josh, give us something about you, like, movies and stuff. Just talk to the audience here.
Well, my name is Josh Petrick. Been good friends with David for a long time and friends with Grant for, honestly...
less time.
About the same time, because we were all met at Chick-fil-A a long time ago. My movie history is a little different than I'd say than the average person. I grew up watching, 1940s and 50s cowboy movies pretty much only. And then some of the old live-action Disney stuff. And then some of like the 1980s TV shows. But that's so a lot of childhood staples I either still haven't seen or watched like after I turned 18 or 19.
But you have at least seen Star Wars, right?
I finally did.
Then you are allowed to be here.
At the age of 19, I finally was introduced.
I mean, better late than never.
Yeah, he was a late bloomer to that. I actually was the one that introduced him into Star Wars and a lot of other movies too, like the older X-Men movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, which at first you weren't a big fan of.
I was still learning how to appreciate a movie, and for me it was anything for a quick laugh, and I enjoyed it. That's why I enjoyed The Hobbits more so to start. I still haven't gone through and watched all of Lord of the Rings for the second time. I think I've seen the first movie a second time. I definitely want to go back through now that my movie palette has matured, and then I can enjoy those because definitely they are classics and I can appreciate for what they are.
Yeah, good. Well, as we love movies here, we're going to talk about movies, and we'll get a different perspective because obviously, like you said, you don't know movies as much. You're more the old cowboy movies, but that's okay. Everyone starts somewhere. It's going to be great. But we want to, as an introduction to our podcast, and I know you've listened to a few of the episodes, we did like blind reacts with certain things. We have one specifically for you that David and I have cooked up for you. We've cooked while I was working and texting at the same time and almost hit another car. But besides that,
it's an awesome game.
Yes.
So you've probably seen the clips on Instagram, TikTok, what have you, of you have an opponent that you need to fight. And you have a $15 budget. We're going to do 4 rounds, okay? And you have the $1 option, the $2 option, the $3 option, the $4 option, and the $5 option, okay? You'll have 4 rounds. Your budget is $15, okay? And your opponent will be Thanos without the gauntlet, without his armies. Just Thanos with his armor and his double-edged sword.
He is inevitable.
Okay? Yes. So this is like Endgame Thanos without the gauntlet. Okay, so
and you don't have to worry about him getting the gauntlet at any point either.
No. Yeah, it's just him. Okay, so your first round will be
weapons.
Your weapon. Okay, so for $1, you can have a wooden spatula.
Splinters.
For $2, you can get a metal spiked mace. For $3, you can get an assault rifle with 2 mags. For $4, you can get an Iron Man suit. And for $5, you can have Stormbreaker.
Remember, you only have $15. So, for your first choice, for a weapon, what do you choose?
Okay, so 3 other things to choose after this.
Correct.
I feel like the only viable options are 4 or 5. Because they're the only things that actually really did damage to Thanos. Because guns didn't do squat. A spatula won't do anything, maybe unless it's in the hands of John Wick.
The bloody pencil.
Iron Man did make him bleed.
All that for a drop of blood.
I say, well, other people can wield Stormbreaker than just Thor. I'm going to have to go Stormbreaker because it is something that will actually do damage to him.
$5 right off the bat.
$5 off the rip. Okay.
Okay.
So we have the weapon.
Okay. Now for your superpower, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna give you a superpower. For $1, you can float 5 inches above the ground. For $2, you can spit fire. You can take that as either you hawk a loogie and it's a fireball, or you can just really give a good diss to Thanos. For $3, make force fields that break after one hit. For $4, you have spider sense. And for $5, super strength. You only have $10 remaining.
I know.
And 2 more options after this.
What sucks is Thor threw Stormbreaker with the force of, well, Thor. So I don't know if I could even get it off the ground because Groot struggled with that. So maybe that wasn't the smartest idea.
He's thinking. Bull.
So
let him cook.
Painted myself into the corner of needing super strength to wield Stormbreaker. No, Spidey sense. That was the only thing it wasn't.
Yeah, just his spider sense.
Okay.
So basically, you're able to avoid oncoming things that come to you, or you're wary of.
Float 5 inches off the ground, spit fire like a loogie fireball.
Basically.
What was number 3?
A 3 was make force fields that break after one hit. So it'll protect you from a hit, but you have to constantly keep making them over and over again.
So that'll keep myself safe potentially from Thanos.
For a little bit.
As long as I'm at a distance.
Until he catches up to you.
Okay. I've unfortunately painted myself into the corner with the first selection to need to also select number 5 again.
Okay. So you're choosing super strength.
Yes.
That is brutal. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So you have $5 remaining.
Yeah, you have $5 left. Okay. Now you get your ally, your person that will help you in battle. For $1, you get me and Grant.
You get us. We'll be your combo.
For $2, you get Obama. For $3, you get Dwayne Johnson. For $4, you get Captain America. And for $5, you get Doctor Strange.
Choose your ally.
I will tell you, I'll give you a bit of a preview here. The next one that you have. Can I tell them the next one you have? I'm not going to give them the option.
Yeah, just tell them what it is.
The next one's going to be a special item. So like you'll have like a wild card item. So you have your ally, and then the next one will be special item. So choose wisely.
Let's see. So I had Grant and David.
Yes.
The Deporter-in-Chief, Dwayne Johnson, and Captain America as my only real options because that would eliminate my need of number 5. But, okay, do I swing for the fences here?
I mean, why wouldn't you choose us? We're right here. You're gonna offend us.
Thanos, with a couple Infinity Stones, took a second to take out Strange. Strange was able to hold him down for a while. So no Infinity Stones. And me swinging Stormbreaker, all you need is one of his little things to hold him down for a split second, and then I aim for the head.
But Captain America also held his own for a good amount of time, and if you're there with him...
Right, with 4. Well, Cap held his own with Mjolnir.
Yeah.
He kind of got punched into the dirt.
And would you like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, a.k.a. The Thing? I'm kidding.
I think I'm going to... It feels terrible. I'm not going to get to option 4, but I'm going to choose 5 again and go Strange with me and Stormbreaker.
You are an expensive contestant.
Would
you like to take a loan with 15% interest? No, I'm kidding. No.
Wow. So the special item, Grant, tell him what he could have had.
For your special items, your choice of none of them because you chose to spend all your money. Special item, for $1, you could have had Antony the Ant in ant form. For $2, you could have a pep talk from Rocky Balboa. For $3, you could have an F-15 support pilot, plain and all, giving you cover fire. For $4, a Pokeball with a mystery Pokemon inside. We would have rolled a mystery. And then for $5, you would have had the Super Mario Superstar, give you invincibility for about 30 seconds. Dang. But you don't get to choose any of them because your expensive butt chose Stormbreaker, Super Strength, and Doctor Strange.
I'm honestly okay with that. I just need Strange to put up a shield real fast and then do a little bit of offensive, hold him down for a second, and then let me swing Stormbreaker and do what Thor could not.
Just go for the head,
That's a high bar after that left my mouth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that was good. Well done.
That was good.
Well done. That was very, very good. That was fun. All right.
Should have brought some D20s and rolled the dice. See how he did.
Yeah, right.
Next time.
Next time. Ooh, some D&D podcast. That'd be crazy.
We're not there yet.
No. So anyways, all right. Well, today's topic is actually going to be on something that, movies oftentimes are important to us as we, grow up, or as we're growing up and as we get older. And then they have a special place in our hearts, whenever we get to be, the age that we are now, which is, mid-20s, early 30s, all this. We have a lot of love for movies, and it's a lot of times because of our childhood. I wanted to talk about childhood movies and ones that mean a lot to you, ones that have a special place in your heart. I know we come from different backgrounds, so you kind of have the more retro, like Back to the Future, although like that was what you grew up on and everything.
Yeah, I grew up definitely with some of the older stuff. One, I am a little older than you guys, but also just older movies, just because that's what my parents watched when they grew up, and they wanted to show those to me as well. And also, I was just more into animated movies and TV shows as well. So because I love animation, still to this day, like some of my most favorite movies are animated movies. And so yeah, I do have that background, but obviously I have a good love for Star Wars because my mom was like, "Hey, try this movie." We were watching it; it was okay, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch it," and I've never looked back.
I always tell people that Star Wars is or Christianity is my faith, but Star Wars is my religion.
Yes, I've jokingly said that as well.
Oh yes, because
and sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I know more lore about Star Wars than I know about the Bible.
Right. Oh yeah. Yes. And that's convicting.
Yes.
But I grew up on Star Wars, Marvel, the old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, Dark Knight, all the Batman movies. I was really, really into Star Wars. I would put in like the tape, like the soundtrack tapes of the old tapes, like the cassette tapes, and I would put it in the player and I would just listen to that. I would listen to the Spider-Man soundtrack from that. That was what I did as a kid. I love that. Those are my favorite movies. I know Josh, your movie background was much different than both of ours.
Yeah, I didn't really get introduced to, like Dave was saying earlier, whether it was Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, the older X-Men's, up until 2018 and 19, and then I didn't start watching any Marvel movies until probably, I'd say around 2011, 2012. And then I followed those along later because we didn't go to movie theaters, and so I always had to wait until they came out on DVD or we bootlegged them. Just kidding. We definitely did not do that.
I thought I was a sheltered child. I was homeschooled and everything.
But so I didn't really grow up with superheroes. One time we found the 4 seasons of the George Reeves Superman at Cracker Barrel. And that was the extent of the superhero stuff that we watched as a kid.
Was that before the rebrand?
Oh, that was back when it was still awesome and a part of American history instead of, well, anyways.
What it's become today.
Yeah.
Superman. Never mind.
That hashtag specifically irritates me.
Hashtag don't care.
Anyways, so that's cool.
I just broke one of my rules. I swear I would never talk in hashtags.
My dad did that today. He talked in hashtags.
Your dad talked in hashtags?
Yeah, and I responded and I said hashtag old. But anyways, all right. Well, we all obviously have a background in movies and childhood movies. Grant, we'll start with you. What are some of your favorites?
Okay, so should I start with TV shows or should I start with movies?
You know what? Just throw both of them in there. Just talk about TV shows and talk about movies.
Okay, just go. I have a list here. I have animated and live action. Ooh. As far as animated shows, as a kid, obviously I have to mention VeggieTales.
Yes.
VeggieTales, classic, great. Favorite episode of VeggieTales, Lord of the Beans.
Oh.
Can't go wrong with that. But if I get off from the classic Christian media, I would have to go with Pokemon. I was huge into Pokemon, collecting the cards, as well as playing the games, and then I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, which is another card game as well as another show, and that got me. That's what started me also on the anime trend, which we will have an episode about that some other time.
Yeah, you can do that one.
I can do that one, yeah. That'll be me by myself, just talking. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to the wee-woo otaku me.
The weeb episode.
the kawaii side of life. Yes, no. But
isn't that like a tropical drink? Kawaii?
No, it means cute in Japanese. But anyway.
This guy.
I thought it was a basketball player.
I don't watch sports. I'm a movie guy.
He's talking about anime. You think you're watching basketball?
Though there is a basketball anime.
Of course there is.
It's called Space Jam.
Wait, that's a childhood movie I grew up watching and I loved. I love Space Jam.
Which I haven't seen.
Okay, get out of here. Oh, okay. But other shows that I love, just because I'm a guy who wears glasses. Arthur. I loved Arthur.
Oh yeah, the
PBS show
with D-Dot. We weren't allowed to watch that because they were rude to each other.
Well, they were brother and sister, so of course they were rude to each
It was a
other.
bad example.
I know. They made it up in the end. Dexter's
Did they really?
kind of. I
Did
think.
that show have an arc?
No, not like that. Okay, no, I wouldn't watch the show now because of one of the characters now came out as something. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah. But Dexter's Laboratory.
Okay.
I loved that one. Kid had glasses. I was like, oh, I could relate to that. Johnny Bravo. Yeah, and another one, quick one, Samurai Jack for an animated one. As far as animated shows go, those were some of the ones that I remembered off the top of my head. Now, for live action TV shows, like I said, I was more into animation, but and also a lot of the old black and white ones. So, like the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh yes, I watched like Little House on the Prairie and Bonanza.
Yes, Little House on the Prairie is on my list as well. The I Love Lucy. The Lucy Show, Leave It to Beaver, I Have Bonanza, the Beverly Hillbillies, Little House on the Prairie, and Star Trek, the original Star Trek.
The old ones.
Though I will say that's much later in my experience because having been introduced to Star Wars and then everything, and I kind of grew up with the whole Star Trek versus Star Wars. Star Wars is superior, Star Trek is bleh.
Yes.
And my parents were like, you need to at least watch the original Star Trek. And so I watched it and I was like, oh, this was enjoyable. Whatever. I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I will go back and watch it a few times, but otherwise it's just not for me. Oh, another one, live action show that I really enjoy and even enjoy watching today, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh.
It is still hilariously funny today, even relatable today. I would highly suggest watching that. It's just great.
That was one of the few older shows that I didn't watch a lot of.
Okay. We're back now, hopefully with better audio quality. I don't know if you heard that right there, but that was Grant slapping his forehead, realizing that the mics weren't plugged in.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
We do all these tests, and then I'm like, it's working, and then I forget to plug it back in.
Yeah, we're still working out the kinks, so apologize about the audio quality for the first 10 minutes there. But anyways, we're just going to continue on. Josh, you had a point about the Dick Van Dyke Show that Grant was talking about.
Yeah, that's it. One of the few older black and white shows that I didn't actually watch a lot of as a kid. The few that I have seen, I've enjoyed. I watched a lot of Dick Van Dyke stuff, just not the actual show. But I grew up on, again, all those, the Andy Griffith, Lucille Ball, or I Love Lucy.
Yeah,
and so that was a lot of my
yeah,
childhood.
and Dick Van Dyke, he's still alive and
which
kicking today.
is crazy.
He's 99 years old
and still dancing.
and still dancing. He'll be 100 on December 13th.
He's my spirit animal.
How old are you now?
25.
Any single ladies out there?
Glad I pulled the mic away for that one. And I did want to ask you though, Josh, what are some of your favorite childhood movies that you had growing up? Or on the Grant, did you have any more that you want to talk about? Or
I,
I'm
mean,
sorry.
I mostly talked about my animated shows and live action shows. I can get to movies later if we want to move on.
Yeah, let's go shows and then we'll go movies
Okay,
after this.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Josh, talk to me about some shows that you grew up with that you enjoyed.
A few that Grant had already mentioned, again with Andy Griffith, I Love Lucy, and whatnot. David briefly mentioned Bonanza. That one we watched a lot of Bonanza, again, because that tied in with the cowboy theme. We dressed up all the time as Zorro and cowboy and whatnot. And then as we got a little bit older, so I don't know, 9 or 10, Dad introduced us to his childhood. So we got to watch MacGyver, A-Team, Knight Rider, and absolutely loved all of those. And so that was our personality for a little while.
Fortunately, I have not seen A-Team or Knight Rider. I know of them. I know what happens in them, but all I've seen for A-Team is that movie that came out with Liam Neeson and all those. Which was good.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed that. Looking back on the shows again, you have to give them a little bit of grace because it was the 80s.
Yeah.
But and so you can't compare like action sequences and whatnot. They didn't have, I mean, the choreographed fights or I mean, everyone is shooting with crazy recoil and whatnot. But always just, for the most part, good, clean fun. A group of good guys comes in and cleans up the bad guys, and ending with Hannibal Smith with a cigar in his mouth. I love it when a plan comes together. So it's that's something my family quotes all the time.
That's awesome. Well, my shows that I grew up with are, I grew up with Little House on the Prairie, Bonanza. It's nice that we have those semi in common. That's pretty cool.
It happens when you're homeschooled.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's like a baseline, Have we showed him this yet? We'll get on it.
He's homeschooled. He has to watch Little House on the Prairie.
That's right. You must know the name of Ingram. But anyway, so I watched those. Those are common ground. Obviously, Veggie Tales was a big one that I grew up with. Did you ever watch Hermie the Caterpillar?
Yes.
Hermie, is that one of those VeggieTales style ones?
That was I just forgot the guy who created the books, but
Max Lucado.
Max Lucado. Max Lucato's Hermie and Friends.
Yes.
Those were a lot of fun. Yeah, that was definitely
I've only seen a few of them, but yeah, I remember it's like the Elvis bee or something like that. The Elvis style bee.
Those were fun. Those were some I grew up with. We had like all the discs of those.
What about 3-2-1 Penguins?
Oh, of course.
Okay, Penguins.
Yeah,
I love 3-2-1 Penguins. My only problem is that I've only ever seen one episode.
Oh, dude.
I've only ever seen one episode of 3-2-1 Penguins because it's all my parents thought, and so that's all I had.
For my childhood, from ages 6 to 15, we traveled around the country helping churches in a ministry. So randomly, we'd be staying on people's houses, and whether that was with them there and we're just guests, or they let us stay there because the family was gone. So we'd look through, their movies, and we stumbled across 3-2-1 Penguins, and like, this looks interesting. And then of course there's Zigil, Midgel, Vigil, and Kevin, and that was
Kevin.
You gotta love it. You gotta love a good Kevin.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had a few 3-2-1 Penguins growing up. Some other ones that are not as homeschool Christian mainstream. Word Girl. Word Girl was a big one for me. Those PBS kids.
Wait, what's that called?
Word Girl.
Word Girl?
Word Girl. Yeah.
Word Girl, yeah.
Well, she's like a superhero. She has a monkey sidekick, and she fights.
I'm already not interested.
She fights villains.
You said monkey.
Is that not Dora the Explorer?
Well, she's brown, so I mean, but she's not as loud and obnoxious.
Soy Dora.
It's like English. It's like English Dora.
Oh, so it's the American Dora.
Yeah, but she's still black. So yeah, that's one I grew up with. Because it actually is pretty funny. It has some humor in it that adults would be like, oh, ah, Okay. Anyway, so that another one called Martha Speaks. These are PBS Kids shows.
Yeah.
And Martha Speaks was one that I grew up. Wildcrats was one that I grew up on. And as far as like more, not necessarily semi-mature, 24 was a big one that I grew up on. We watched that every Monday night. We watched like 9 seasons of that. Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland was Jack Bauer.
Yeah, my parents, they showed me Lost when that came out.
Oh, yeah.
So I watched that while I was coming out and still confused.
Yeah.
At the end. So yeah.
Yeah. 24 is one of the greatest shows of all time, period. So I was glad that I got to watch that growing up. Like, it was really, really cool. We were obsessed with Monday nights because we were always just looking for the next 24 episode. So that was really, really fun.
One more live action, the one that I'm remembering, the Waltons. Does anyone remember the Waltons?
Oh,
that's an older one as well.
That was, again, one of the few that I didn't watch. I knew of. I saw a couple episodes, but that was something that Mom liked from the few TV shows that she ever watched as a kid. She was a lot more sheltered than I was.
The Waltons was one that was sometimes on whenever we were at my my grandparents' house. It would be on, and we'd be watching that. So I watched them episodes.
See, when I was at my grandparents' house, it was The Price is Right.
Oh yeah, I always thought the Waltons was in my head canon they were the Walnuts. That was how I referred to them as the Walnuts. So yeah, The Price is Right, Jeopardy, and Wheel of Fortune.
Always,
yeah, all those. So anyways, TV shows. Okay, well, Grant, what about some childhood movies?
Well, I guess I'll start with animated movies as well. So I'll get to Disney in a minute, but let me go to first one of my favorites, Iron Giant.
Oh, a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I mean Superman. Yeah, but there.
Spoilers.
Have you not seen it?
Add that to the list of things I have not seen.
You have a long list. But yeah, animated movie, Iron Giant, great movie. I love 2D animation. I wish they would make more 2D animation movies. I know it's painstakingly hard to do, and I can't draw a lot or well. So, but 2D animation movies still are one of my favorites. Going a lot older, that I remember watching a whole bunch as a kid, Thumbelina.
Oh, that is very old.
That is very old. It's I forget what year, but 2D animated, same, and it's a musical, not Disney. I think it's owned by Disney now.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
it is now.
But that one was great. It kind of had more adult themes to a degree because like Thumbelina, the girl, was very small, as big as your thumb, and the prince is like, "Yeah, I'm going to save you," blah blah blah, and then gets captured by like a beetle, and the beetle's like, "I'm going to marry you," no, and then the frog's like, "No, I'm going to marry you," and there's innuendos and stuff like that. As a kid, I'm like, "Oh, whatever." If I rewatch it now, I'd be like, "Oh my," but it was still very good. I remember loving it as a kid. And then this one has become more of a cult classic because it didn't do really well when it first came out. But being a big fan of sci-fi, Titan AE.
Titan AE. I've actually never
You've
heard
never
of that
seen
before.
that.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, you never heard of that before?
Titan AE.
Okay, so I'll give a brief description. So basically, Titan AE happens in the future.
Mhm.
Happens on Earth. Aliens attack Earth. They destroy Earth. Death started. Gone. The survivors have escaped, and now they're one of the space shuttles that escaped Earth apparently has a way to rebuild Earth.
Hmm.
And the aliens are trying to find this spaceship so that Earth can no longer be a thing. So basically to wipe out humans. And it's the journey of the son of the father who went and took the spaceship away, now trying to solve that mystery and everything. It's really well done, really well animated, great story. I would highly suggest watching that. I need to watch it again. It's definitely one of my favorites. But now moving on to Disney, because you can't talk animated movies without Disney.
Oh, 100%.
My first movie that I saw as a kid was Aladdin in theaters.
Oh, in
And-
theaters.
In theaters, because I'm that old. But yeah, that my parents took me to see it, and don't remember going to the movies to see it, but they took me to see it, and I love that movie. Robin Williams was great and everything. And then I also saw Lion King, and I wanted to be Simba when I grew up. I had a Lion King birthday party and everything. Beauty and the Beast, a one that I enjoyed watching a whole bunch too. Sleeping Beauty.
yeah.
well. So
I never watched that one as a kid, but that's a great one.
Yeah, great villain, great music. Tchaikovsky did all the was they took music from Tchaikovsky and used all the music that they were singing as well as throughout the entire movie. Great. And then I loved the music from Hercules
Okay.
because it was Southern gospel style. You had the group of ladies. I forget what they're called. Yeah, the Reclaimer of Heroes.
The Black Gospel Choir.
Black Gospel Choir, and they were singing about Hercules, and it was like oh yeah, it was like a Southern black choir singing out there. It
Second Chances from Jonah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a deep pull. But...
Basically, yeah.
Second Chances.
Going back to VeggieTales.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, and I remember loving that. So those are some of the animated movies that growing up I thoroughly enjoyed. Now for live action, I'm going to start with a story. When I was 13, my grandma had just come to the faith of coming to know Christ and be a believer and start coming to church and everything. And for Christmas that year, right when I was 13, about to turn 14, my grandma brought me a movie for Christmas. I unwrapped it. Like, oh, cool. What is this? Open it up. It's called Kingdom of Heaven. I'm like, oh, sweet, a Christian movie. Oh, I will love this. Oh, blah blah blah. Later either that night or a week later, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie that my grandma bought me. It's called Kingdom of Heaven. I wonder what it's about. Probably about heaven and everything else. Put it in. Didn't even look at the back. My parents didn't even check to see if anything about it. It's a rated R movie about the Crusades. Blood, gore, arrows to the neck, decapitations. And I was like, this is awesome. I didn't tell anyone about it. I was like, I have an R-rated movie that my grandma bought me. It's called Kingdom of Heaven, and it's awesome.
That was when your puberty started right there.
Yeah. But Orlando Bloom, the main character. Now, it wasn't the first R-rated movie I saw. I saw my first R-rated movie when I was 9. My parents took me to go see The Patriot, which you just finally
that
watched.
movie was so good.
Yeah, you finally watched it.
It was so
After I
good.
recommended it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so I watched Kingdom of Heaven a lot. But because of my first R-rated movie that I owned. It was mine. It was given to me. I love it. Oh. But besides that, Star Wars, obviously.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I was shown Star Wars, my mom took me to see A New Hope in theaters when it got released for one of its anniversaries.
Uh-huh.
And
It's first one.
it's first, not that old, but that was great. And I loved all the Star Wars. Indiana Jones as well. I'll have to go with those. I grew up watching those. Back to the Future. Obviously, like you said,
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of the old ones. Have any of you heard of the movie The Indian in the Cupboard?
I have not.
Nope.
Okay, so premise of the Indian in the Cupboard. It's about this boy who gets this little cupboard that it locks with the key, and he puts the toy in it. He opens it up the next day, and the toy is gone because the toy is alive. So basically, like Thumbelina, same size, and it's an interesting premise. I haven't watched it, but I remember as a kid being fascinated by it, and I was like, oh, I want to get a cupboard and have my toys come alive like Toy Story, but it was live action. It was like real people. Like, oh, that was cool. And then another one that I remember watching a lot as a kid was an animal movie called Polly. It was
Okay.
about a green parrot.
Hmm.
And I just remember doing that. The animal talked and everything. It was great. But then Disney movies, going back to Disney for live action. I didn't include Star Wars because it wasn't owned by Disney at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Swiss Family Robinson, which is an older Disney movie, as well as Davy Crockett, the original.
I grew up on Davy Crockett and the River Pirates.
Yeah,
and
I haven't seen
Swiss
that
Family-
one.
Okay, so that one, there's the two with Fess Parker. There's the King of the Wild Frontier.
Yeah.
which ends in the Alamo. And
Yeah, that's the one.
the end credits roll right before he actually dies.
Yeah.
Little me didn't know that he died until I learned history,
Same,
and then
same.
that became really sad.
Yeah.
But David Crockett and the River Pirates, A+ movie, still holds up today, and so did Swiss Family Robinson.
Did you grow up with a coon hat?
Oh yeah,
I
that
had one too. I was like, I want to be Davy Crockett.
that. I had the fake leather looking canteen. We had
I had a snap rifle.
the cap gun,
Yeah, cap gun rifle.
rifles. Yeah, that was my personality as a kid. It was a mix of insert random cowboy, Zorro, or Davy Crockett.
There you
That was it.
Nice. But yeah, Davy Crockett, and then I would consider this my first scary movie or horror movie. Not talking about Jumanji because I saw this even way before that. It's a Disney movie too, which you may or may not have heard of, called Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
No, I never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
No.
So it has a young Sean Connery in it.
Okay.
Young Sean Connery, and I forget any of the other actors' names because I just remember Sean Connery. But it's about this guy who lives in Ireland and he catches a leprechaun. And throughout the whole course of the movie, at the end of the movie, there's this ghost, and the special effects at the time, but
Shoddy at best.
But it scared me, and the moaning of the ghost and everything. It was just scary, and I was like, oh, but for some reason I would keep going back to watch it, even though I don't like scary movies,
Right.
for the most part.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my list of movies that I grew up with. That's what at least I could come up with. I'm sure there's others, but
Yeah.
those are the ones that stuck to me the most.
All right, Josh, what you got?
I want to bring one thing back to the TV shows. This is something we stumbled across when I was like probably 11 or 12. Was Iron Man Armored Adventures. Have you heard of that, Grant?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it follows like a 17-year-old or 16-year-old Tony Stark.
Okay.
His dad dies. He just develops the suit. Completely different spin. It's like it's
One of my favorite animated TV shows is Avengers Assembled. Or it's either Avengers Assembled or Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That's it. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Assembled, we are strong. That one was one of my favorites growing up. I played the Iron Man Armored Adventure games, like on my computer, like online. I never actually watched the show, but those were some of my favorite episodes in cinema, like when I was growing up watching Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I wanted to touch on that as well because that was a great poll by you on that.
See, I didn't get into Marvel until a lot later in my life. I was more of a DC guy because growing up, my grandpa, he's kind of more the nerd in the family, and he had a whole bunch of comic books, and he gave me some of the comic books.
So did you watch like the Justice League shows and everything?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I grew up with the Justice League, the Batman animated movies, animated show. I mean, there were movies. I didn't watch the movies though, but yeah, the Justice League and Batman and Superman and all those DC ones. And then it wasn't until I became like 16, 17, I was like, when I realized that Marvel and DC weren't the same. I was like, oh, so you have superheroes that are Marvel? Oh, okay. They're two separate words, or two separate things. Interesting. And that's when I discovered Spider-Man. We had the Spider-Man movie come out, and I was like, oh, the Spider-Man movie was like my first, like, besides seeing a few comic books, was my first like Marvel experience, as well as the Spider-Man video game that I had on the 64. But at that point, I think I still thought that it was all, oh, it's superheroes. They're all together. They're all friends. Blah blah blah. Superheroes.
Yeah, I honestly still to this day haven't seen a lot of the animated DC stuff. I started watching a couple of the newer animated DC movies that came out within the last few years, which were pretty cool. But so my connection to superheroes obviously I love Superman because I mean who doesn't? But
I don't.
I watched just the character. You're not a Superman guy.
I not really. I mean, I should be because that's my grandpa loves. He loves Superman. He's a big Superman, Wonder Woman, and there was someone else. It's been so long since I've talked to him about it. Because yeah, but anyway,
I feel like for me though,
I think Superman is overrated.
Oh, and I can get that. And to be honest, I feel like me liking Superman is like a person who doesn't watch basketball. Their favorite player is LeBron James. That's kind of how it makes sense that way. Where once you get into the lore of something, like for instance, David's favorite Star Wars character is Boba Fett. Like you're not gonna know. No one's gonna just immediately think of that because it's kind of a smaller character.
I would agree and disagree with that because just because of the popularity of the Mandalorian armor and how popular he was, just because of his armor, that people would know who he is to a degree. They might know everything about the character.
I would think that it would mean like it's not you develop your favorite characters off of knowing the franchise. Like you could if someone had never seen Star Wars and gun to your head, who's your favorite Star Wars character? Luke Skywalker. Gun to your head, who's your favorite DC character? You're going to say Superman or Batman. Yeah. If you've never seen anything like that. So I think I understand what you're saying there, Josh.
Yeah. So I've started to get a little bit more into some DC stuff, watching some of the older cartoons or just older movies. I haven't seen a lot of the old like George Clooney Batmans and that kind of stuff. Right. But
we get the old Batman TV show.
Right. So that was actually
holy cinema, Batman.
I think the very first superhero movie I ever watched. I was over at my Uncle Billy's house. I was like 6 or 7, and back to back, I watched the final half of I think it was the Michael Keaton Batman because it was the Joker had this massive gun in his pants.
Yep.
And then watched the first Superman with Christopher Reeves, and then straight into Spider-Man 2. Just like back to back. I was 7, and I don't remember like experiencing those movies, so I don't really count those as my introduction to superhero stuff. But yep, that's the one. David just pulled up a picture of it. Yeah, so that was the first thing I ever watched superhero was the last half of the Michael Keaton Batman.
That was the one with Jack Nicholson as Joker. Yeah. Really, really good portrayal of that character.
And he really wanted to do Joker because Joker was like one of his favorite characters too. And I think he pulled it off very well for that time.
Yeah. So back to movies. That was a bit of a rabbit trail there. It's all good. So cartoons. Easily my favorite cartoon as a kid was the Robin Hood from Disney with the foxes.
Oh yes.
That one I loved it. I still love it to this day.
I do as well.
I still laugh every time.
Ooh da lolly.
Ooh da lolly, what a day. It's beautiful. It just makes me happy.
Don't copyright us, Disney.
it just makes me happy. And again, like I said earlier, if you can make me laugh, I'm going to enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
So that's why there's some movies I'll laugh, think it's great, and then watch it again, and the jokes don't hit the same, and I realize, wow, this movie was absolutely trash. Quantumania. But so that one, top tier, my favorite, probably honestly, arguably still my favorite cartoon movie to this day. And then, I mean, I grew up ish with, 101 Dalmatians, Cinderella, some of those stuff. I haven't seen the original Aladdin still. I watched The Lion King for the first time when I was 18. I haven't seen Sleeping Beauty. I haven't seen the original Beauty and the Beast. I've seen the live action. I've seen the live action Aladdin.
Is there a reason that you weren't not necessarily allowed to watch those when you grew up, but is there a reason that you didn't watch those when you were growing up?
Some of them, Mom didn't want us to, and I don't know why. After she died, spoiler alert.
Wow.
I think it was yeah, it was like 2 weeks after she died. I was on a plane and I decided to watch The Lion King, and then I called my dad. I was like, Dad, why didn't we watch The Lion King as a kid? Or why wouldn't Mom let us? And he's like, I have no idea. So I think that was it for a lot of the stuff we watched as a kids. Also, didn't go to the movie theaters after she died. I watched 5 movies in theaters in 1 week after. Anyways, so
thanks,
sidebar.
Mom.
So I didn't watch a lot of old cartoons. So I really stuck with the Davy Crockett type live actions, which we still loved, is there's an old Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis movie called Partners.
I love
And-
Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
So it was just this city guy was Jerry Lewis. He had a part owner in a ranch out west, and the other part owner was Dean Martin. And I watched it all the time with my grandpa. It's still hilarious. Because the two of them, there was some music in it, which we all love, and it's just a classic one for all of us kids in our family. We quote it probably on the daily, just some parts of it.
Yeah, Jerry Lewis. I mean, is funny, and Jim Carrey actually got his personality, I think, probably from Jerry Lewis, because they're in a way, if you look at them both side by side, they're very similar to a degree.
I never would have thought to make that comparison. I think Jim Carrey is a little more like over the top,
Yes.
goofy, but I can totally see that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, when I first got introduced to Jerry Lewis, and I had already been introduced to Jim Carrey, I was like, are these guys two related? they're acting very similar, and they're funny, and they look somewhat similar.
Yeah, so that's probably one of my favorite childhood live action movies, just because it's sentimental, because we watched it with my grandpa, and just as a family, and we just love it's funny, musical, and cowboys. So what better could you have?
Yeah.
And then
And howdy.
Three Stooges.
Oh,
Me, Jordan, and Michael. Those are my two brothers.
talk about slapstick comedy.
That's where we get our humor. I mean, I do the curly whoop 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 all the time. David can attest to that still. And that's just so specifically though. Sing a Song of Sixpence and Brideless Groom. Me, Jordan, and Michael quote that all the time. It became our personalities, much to my mom's chagrin. But that's pretty much my childhood from movies.
That's awesome. That's it, dude. So far, it seems
Yeah.
like we all had some pretty good
We all,
childhoods
yeah, we all,
growing up.
yeah. I mean, the Three Stooges. I mean, most recently, the Three Stooges came up in like my TikTok feed, and I was seeing like the one scene where like he's like, "Hey, I just got $10. He's like, "Oh, well, you owe me 20. Well, here's $10. I'll still owe you 10." And then the other guy's like, "Oh, you owe me $20. Well, here's 10. I'll give you." And it goes around, and then like at the end, the guy still has the $10. Like, "Oh, we're good now." And it's like, and I'm like sitting there going, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, wait, no, that's economics. Technically, they're all good now, but I still don't understand how it works.
So that wasn't the type of comedy that I grew up on. I didn't grow up on a lot of slapstick. There were movies like the Hudsucker Proxy that I grew up on, which had the guy from Shawshank Redemption, and I couldn't tell you his actor's name. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I could talk about Oh Brother, Where Art
Yeah,
Thou.
that was one I grew up on. The newer True Grit. That's not really known as a funny movie, but I
I've
think
never seen any of the True Grit, so
yeah. But then again, it's not really. I didn't really enjoy comedies that much growing up. I wasn't shown a lot of them because I was shown other movies. I was shown Star Wars. Star Wars was a movie that, I mean, you know, like those, like Inside Out, like how you have core memories, you know?
yes.
One of my core memories is that we were, we really wanted to watch Star Wars Episode 4. And we watched the Star Wars movies all the time growing up. Like, we watched them all the time. And finally, my mom had just had it. She was like, do we have to watch that movie again? Why are we going to watch Star Wars A New Hope? Like, she said it like that, like she was questioning a title. I'm never going to forget that. And then I felt bad because I was like, oh, are we watching this movie too much? And then I was like, no. This is Star Wars. This is bigger than just.
This is hypocrisy.
Yeah, right. So I remember that. That was one thing I remember about watching Star Wars growing up. Is we just watched it all the time. My dad, he could watch them all the time. He
Yeah,
loved
I'd
them.
watch it all the time too. And I remember going back to when Star Wars Episode 3 came out. So I had 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2 on VHS.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get Episode 3 on VHS. I wanted to complete my collection. Christmas came around, and my dad got me Episode 3 on DVD. And I was mad.
The
I was
shame.
I was like, I want it on VHS. And I still have, to this day, have not been able to find it on VHS.
It's probably
but
rare.
it's probably rare now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's all good though.
see, I grew up on
I
Star
have them
Wars.
on Blu-ray now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Who wants the VHS?
Got them on Disney Plus now. But anyway, so I grew up with Star Wars, and I'm passing on the torch now. Grayson is on Episode 3, watching all of them on his own accord. On his own accord, he's been watching them on his own. Yeah, he's on his own journey. So
May the
Train
force be with him.
train a child up in the way they should go, right? Um, So anyways, you had Star Wars was a big one that I grew up. That was like the third. I would say that's the third most watched. The second most watched that I watched growing up was the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movies. Watch those all the time. Second one, incredible, still holds up today. Third one is okay. First one, classic, but the
Yeah.
second one is just so good. We watched the extended edition of that. We would go back and just watch the fight scenes sometimes,
Mhm.
like not even the whole movie. We actually did that quite a bit. We would just skip around and just watch it. It was so much fun. So we did that a lot. My first most watched movies as a child was easily Lord of the Rings, easily, because we watched those yearly. That was like a non-negotiable Christmas time. My family still does it, except they added in the Hobbits. It was a non-negotiable. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers.
You almost said it again.
I caught myself. I was even thinking about it. So the Two Towers.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, and Return of the King. Every single year.
Just a quick question: was it
Yeah.
the regular editions or the extended editions?
Which started with the regular editions, but then the extended editions released.
Yeah.
And we swapped to those.
Okay.
We swapped to those.
It's just checking.
And then once the Hobbits came out, we started to add those onto it as well. And they still do it to this day. They still watch Lord of the Rings every year. So those were movies that I grew up watching the most, and I'm so glad that I did, because those are objectively, in my opinion, the best movies of all time.
We need to have an episode on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
because
we will.
I have some hot takes about those movies
Well,
that are good and bad.
We will go in on that one.
'Cause
But anyways,
I've read the books, and I know some of the lore from the books too. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's some things that were changed, but that for the best, in my opinion, for the better. But some things that I wish they had added to them.
have you read the Silmarillion?
I've read about half of it.
Okay.
Because like I'll get into it, and I was reading, and I'm really into it, and I'll just like I need to take a break because this is enjoyable, but I need to take a break. And then like a month goes by, like, oh wait, where was I?
Yeah, I had to for school, actually, for a class on Tolkien. Actually, whenever I had lunch with my pastor a few weeks ago, and I told him that I took a course on Tolkien, and he went, "That was a real course, like a college course." Like he was like, "Yeah." So Lord of the Rings was a big one that I watched growing up. The Chronicles of Narnia.
Yep.
Yeah, as those come out, I watched the Chronicles of Narnia quite a bit. And this is something that I guarantee you that neither of you have seen. It is a very niche thing that probably only like 15,000 people in the world have actually watched this.
Oh wow.
Mystery Science Theater. So
I need to look. That sounds familiar.
so so it is a movie, but it's not. So what it is, and we watched these quite a bit growing up, is there's two robots and a guy.
Okay. Yes, I'm seeing it now. Yes, I never watched them, but
But you know what they
exactly what you're
are.
talking
You know what
about.
it is.
Yes.
So Josh, to enlighten you, I'll just pull up a picture of it so you can see it, but I'll describe it for those listening. There's two guys, or there's two robots and a guy, and the shot of the whole thing is them in the theater watching like an old movie.
It's just their silhouettes, right?
So yeah, it's just their
And
silhouette.
they're just doing commentary and making fun of the
Yeah.
movie, right?
So the whole thing, they're just making fun of the movie the entire time, and it is hysterical. It is so funny. It's like these old, like horrible movies, and they're just sitting there like making fun of it. So like, there's this really like serious scene where a guy died, and the audience kind of quiet, and then one of them goes, "I think he moved." Kidding. It's just stuff like that. We'd have a blast watching.
We should do a Mystery Science Theater.
100%. Yes. So anyway, I grew up watching those. You'd love those, Josh. You'd love those. So anyway, so there was that. That was a big
So
one.
there's
I
your
grew up as
comedy
well.
section for you.
Yeah. That was the kind of comedy I grew up on. And so if we ever make fun of a movie, we say, we're mystery sciencing the movie.
Yeah.
As far as animated movies go, mine are pretty similar to yours. That's why I didn't really touch on them. I wasn't allowed to watch quite a few Disney movies because, like The Little Mermaid, too much skin showing. Aladdin, Jasmine, too much skin showing. And yet we vacation to Daytona Beach every year, Dad.
You live basically there.
Yeah. But anyway, so too much of that. So we weren't allowed to watch those. But we watched Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Snow White, all those ones.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, Stockholm Syndrome,
Oh.
Cinderella, whatever.
Yeah, right. Couldn't watch Alice in Wonderland, drugs. But anyways,
I am the caterpillar smoking this mushroom.
yeah. So those are some movies that I grew up on, and I'm happy for it. I love my movie childhood.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love it.
As do I. And like my parents, like when I was going through high school, my parents like basically sat me down and said, "Hey, for part of your homeschooling, we are educating you through movies." And like they showed me some Alfred Hitchcock and a bunch of other stuff. And some of those movies, I'm like, "Oh, those movies are great. Why have I not heard of these or seen these?" And
Right.
I'll have to talk about those at some point because Alfred Hitchcock, great director, and definitely should watch them. At least one or two of them.
Yeah. So I wanted to transition into this this final-ish segment because we are running out of time. Can you believe it's almost been an hour? Isn't that crazy?
Even with the little hiccups.
Yeah, right. So I want to transition to this last segment. Movies that are special to you personally, like movies as you were growing up as a kid, that like just one or two that, or maybe it's a show that just have like a special place in your heart that you consider maybe to be one above all.
I kind of have to go with Star Wars. Like Star Wars, like the picture you showed me on your phone, that is my
Yes.
is my user contact. I'm like that's me. Like the fact that I'm in a Darth Vader helmet, it's like, yep, that's me. Like I have Star Wars memorabilia. I love Star Wars, and I think Star Wars totally would have to be the one that I go through because I will go back to Star Wars every time, and nothing will stop me from that. No matter what Disney tries to do.
No matter how much they destroy the thing that we love.
Yes, I've seen everything Star Wars except for one thing, and that was the
Acolyte?
Yeah, the Acolyte. I did not see Acolyte. I've seen
Good for
everything
you.
else.
Good for you not wasting your time on that piece of crap
Listen,
show.
I want to just so I can complain about it and for real, and not just saying, "Oh, it's bad because everyone else is bad."
Garbage.
I know. I've heard.
Garbage.
Yes.
Horrible.
Anyway.
Anyways, okay, so that's good.
I might watch it eventually.
Okay, all right.
When
Josh,
I have nothing better to do.
yeah, right. There's always something better to do than watch that. You could be in like a sewer, and your only option is to either eat the crap in the sewer or watch the Acolyte. I'm telling you, just eat the crap.
It stinks that bad.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, Josh. What about you, man? What's a movie that's just special to you that just like sticks with you?
Probably the one I already mentioned, Partners with D. Martin, Jerry Lewis. That one's just special. Again, just for sentimental reasons, and I mean it's still a good movie. That one, and probably Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. It's
Bless your beautiful heart.
it's so good. My dad would sing that all the time. Obviously towards mom, and then we kind of go ooh. But no, it was catchy songs. It was a good story. It was funny.
Yeah.
And so that one was special for us. A TV show that's kind of special. That's kind of niche, but it's called Sue Thomas FBI, and it follows. She actually is a real person in real life. She's a deaf FBI agent that before they had like audio for like their security tapes, she would read the lips and stuff. And she's a Christian. We discovered this when we were snowed in 500 miles north of the border in Canada, 37 below zero, and we were staying at a pastor's house, and he left us homemade root beer, and we found Sue Thomas FBI, and so that's special. And
Sounds like a good time, eh?
it was a blast, but that one's special just because it was a time when my family was all really close. I mean, we're still close now, but I mean, just we were snowed in.
Yeah.
And
you're forced to be close.
And then and we've seen the entire show multiple times, and our entire family quotes it, so it's something we can all do as a family and talk about and enjoy together. And it's not like me and Jordan with Marvel and something like that. So it's that one's particularly special just to our family.
That's awesome. I have three, and two count more than, or one counts more than the other two, but I have to mention the other two. One being Three Amigos.
I knew you were going to mention that at some point.
Yes. Oh, that was exactly what I was thinking.
Because you're
the salute.
I was talking with your dad one Thursday when we were meeting up, and he was like, we were talking about movies too, and he mentioned that one. He's like, hey, you should watch it. It's funny, it's great, and everything. I only laughed once during that entire movie. And that's when the Invisible Man got shot.
Yes!
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it all.
Such a
And
great
I'm like, oh, that was the Invisible Man. He got shot. I'm like, where did he come from? Why is he even here? Why is this even a character? I thought it was hilarious, and it's still the funniest part. But that's the only time I ever laughed in that entire movie.
I think that movie's so funny. I think that's so funny.
So I was mad at your dad for telling you this is a great movie. You should watch it. So I watched it, and I only laughed once.
the male plane joke. We always muted that when I was growing up. but he was there was a plane that was flying over them, and he was like, it's a Tuppen 601. I flew one during whatever movie he was saying, and he goes, they were talking about a plane. He goes, I think it's a mail plane, and I'm like, how can you tell? He goes, well, didn't you see its little balls?
I still don't get it.
It's a horrible joke, but we muted that growing up, and I just recently heard that, and I was like, wow, that's really funny, but I can definitely see why he muted that. But anyway, so Three Amigos. Number 2 is Inception.
Oh,
Inception is
great movie.
yes, honestly one of the best.
I just
movies.
actually just rewatched that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, one of the best movies of all time. In all reality,
Another one of the many that David has introduced me to, Christopher Nolan films. The only movies of his I had seen before was, honestly, I probably already knew David by the time I watched him, was the Batman movies. But Inception is arguably my favorite movie. It checks all the boxes that you need, and
Have you figured it out yet?
your favorite movie? I didn't expect that. Your favorite movie is Inception?
arguably. I don't know what else I would put up there, but it's one of the things I could just thoroughly enjoy every time I watch it. Probably that and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
So since we threw out Inception, I have to mention Inception real fast. So when it first came out, my girlfriend at the time, we went to go see it, and I was like, "Wow, that was really good." I had to watch it again because I didn't understand what happened. But then it came out on DVD, and I'm like, my parents didn't go see it. I'm like, Mom, you got to watch this movie. It was super good, super great. I showed it to my mom, and we watched it together. And I'm like, hey, after the movie, my mom, what'd you think? Like, the movie was about drugs. I was like, what? The movie was about drugs. I'm like, no, it's about Inception and plenty of things. Like, no, they were addicted to sleeping. They were addicted to that drug to make them sleep. I'm like, Mom, you ruined the movie for me. It's a great movie. Go away. You don't understand cinema. Bah.
You don't understand cinema. Bah, humbug.
Bah, humbug. Get out. This is my movie. I love this movie.
I denounce you.
I love you, but get out.
Yeah, right. No, but that's the case with a lot of Christopher Nolan movies. Tenet is one that I still don't fully understand.
I've only seen it once. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, that's one.
Tenet was the first Christopher Nolan movie I had seen aside from the Batmans. So before I watched Inception or Prestige or anything like that, and I watched it 3 times in theaters. Every time you watch it, you pick up more on it, and you realize how detailed it is. A lot of people I've talked to don't like it. They say it's kind of a ripoff of, there was a movie that I don't know, a while ago that was kind of similar in concept. That one's kind of special to me because it was my first like kind of mind bending movie like that. I thoroughly enjoy it, and every time I watch it, you pick up on something else. So I give that a solid A+.
Okay.
And the last movie that means a lot to me growing up and has a special place in my heart, and it's number 1, and it's actually 3 movies. It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
You better say that.
Yeah,
You just mentioned how important it was to your family.
Yeah, that's special. That's special, and I won't talk too much about it.
You're saying that show is precious.
Yes,
to you.
Precious to you. You say it's. I could quote it. I'm not going to. We got to move on. But anyways,
We'll save it for the Lord of the Rings episode.
Yes, exactly. So that's number 1 is the Lord of the Rings. That means a lot to me, and those movies are just so good. So, yeah, those childhood movies are, they develop us, and they speak a lot to our character.
They shape us, they form us, they bind the galaxy together.
Yeah, truly. So a little biblical tie-in here at the end of the episode. As we are believers, we are called to be Christ-like, and we are also called to come to Jesus. Jesus wants us to come to him. But how we come to him is important, wouldn't you say, Grant?
I would definitely agree, yes.
Yes. So how we come to Jesus in the attitude of, and Jesus says, in Matthew, let the little children come to me. Is that to exclude adults? No, because I don't believe that Jesus was referring to actual adults and children in that sense. I think for us, it means more of, I want you to come to me humbly and willing to learn as a child does, and to be Christ-like, you have to have the humility and attitude of, children and such.
Yeah, and I think, like, back to just the kids love movies, they're special to them, but it's simple. There's like, if you watch a kids movie as an adult, you're looking for something deeper, like you're like, what can I get out of this? How can I? And it's not. It's simple, and we way overcomplicate salvation, and in a way it is, and like with anything, but truly it is so simple with a childlike faith, and if we need to come to Christ as a child with that
that childment wonder.
Right, and that's we lose that as adults as we look for not bigger and better things, but deeper and trying to understand. Just as we just mature, which is great for other facets of life, but when you can get so bogged down with intricacies and things that you don't need to, when the gospel is so simple.
Yeah, because as adults, we want to try to fully understand everything. That's why we have science, we have history. We want to try to understand all the things that are happening in this world, and in a way, we want to understand God. That's why we study theology and have all these things. But one of the reasons I don't like studying theology is because God is so massive that we're never going to be able to fully understand. And your understanding of God is going to be different than my understanding of God. Just like your understanding of God is going to be slightly different than mine.
He's not meant to be understood in
Yeah,
the first place.
He's not meant to be understood. There's supposed to be mystery around that.
Yes.
For God, 2 + 2 can equal fish, and because He created the fish and the numbers that made everything work together.
That's right.
And like we're supposed to come as that child wonder, like when we look into the stars, like, oh my goodness, that star is beautiful, and there's so many of them in the sky. Oh, that'd be so cool. But like it's that childment wonder of like looking up at the stars and like it's so vast and so big, but we'll never fully grasp it. We'll never fully understand it.
Yes.
And that's how we're supposed to come to Christ, not saying, "Oh, I completely understand you, Jesus," but God, I'm sorry that I can't understand you, but I'm here. Help me learn
Yes.
more.
Childlike awe, childlike wonder. You know, awe. I mean, that word "awesome" is thrown around so much today, but its true meaning is so much deeper than, you know. I'll look at this water bottle and I'll be like, "Oh wow, that's awesome." You know what I mean? I have water here. But like for the word to actually be applied, it's like total awe and wonder of God is true worship and childlike, because we don't understand Him. We never will. We can only sit there and be in awe. And that's how in our Christian walk we need to be approaching, you know, God. I love what you said about just overcomplicating things. You know, we get bogged down in theology and the philosophical mysteries and conversations of, you know, pre-trib, post-trib, you know, free will, predestination, all the stuff that that ultimately on eternity doesn't matter in the first place, and it distracts and divides the church from being who we need to be, which is childlike. We need to be not, I don't want to say simple, but yes, simple. We need to keep the gospel and make it what it was meant to be, which is accessible for everyone, you know, and not an intimidating thing for people to be like, well, I don't understand God. Man, John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not perish but have eternal life." Boom, full stop. Acts 16:31, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved, you and your household. That is where the gospel starts and ends, right there. And if people can if we as believers can start by coming to Him in true childlike wonder and in humility, then maybe our gospel message wouldn't be so convoluted and distracting from what God truly meant it to be.
We get so distracted and bogged down by everything that's thrown at us in this world, everything that we learn, everything that is taught to us. And the wonderful thing about knowledge is that it's great. It's good to know things.
Yes.
But the more you know, the less you know. And the more you know, the less you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because that knowledge bogs you down and limits you to a certain degree, depending on how you handle that knowledge that's been given.
Yeah. I mean, it's all well and good to study and to apply yourself in your faith. But it starts with a relationship, you know, a relationship with Christ. And that comes from prayer and opening up the Word of God, not reading a million textbooks from other authors about, you know, the character of God and all this stuff. Man, if that's how you learn, and if you're, you know, and you don't feel convicted and you feel like you're in a good spot in your relationship with God, and only He knows your heart. But I would encouraging you, if you're sitting here listening today, if you're struggling with your relationship with God and you're trying to overcomplicate your theology, man, just focus on God wants a relationship with you. You know, He wants to have this one-on-one. I mean, He created you, and He created you for a reason. And it was to have a true relationship with Him.
And going back to the simplicity of it, like the fact of Christ is that it's so simple that we think it's complicated.
Yes.
Going back to our childlike wonder, like it's simple. Jesus said, like you said, John 3:16, God so loved the world. That's it.
That's it.
That's all you need to
That's
know.
it.
That's not all you need to know, but like that's the beginning.
Yeah.
That's it. It was a free gift for you. You didn't do anything for it, yet he's still there for you.
I think sometimes we understand that salvation is simple, but we think that's where the simplicity stops. And the same grace that saved you is the same grace that grows you. Why do we think we have more of an effect, or we have more to do with our sanctification than we did with our salvation? Our only job is, he is the vine, we are the branches. The branches aren't grunting and straining to push out fruit. They're clinging on to the vine. And Jesus, because their closeness to him, Jesus pushes that fruit out in our life. Our only job is to cling to him. And I know that's an oversimplification, but just that closeness will affect every area of life. That fruit will grow. It's not an action that you do. And that's something I've struggled a lot in my life. It's trying to do these things to sanctify myself, even though I know it's not how it works. But simply, it's just sit next to Jesus, and the same grace to save me is the same grace that grows me. It's not of my own action. It works.
All we do is accept him. That's our only job. Accept him and then let him do the rest.
That's right.
But we just have to be willing to let that change happen.
Absolutely.
And pruning hurts.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for listening. If you hung around, thank you so much for listening. Drop a comment. Let us know your childhood movies. If we missed one that you feel is important to you, let us know down in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Leave a like on the video if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify, drop a follow. We'll be uploading even more. Again, sorry about the missed upload. We have busy schedules and lives over the next few months. I have a wife and kids. Yeah, right. And a job that requires me to travel. But we will be as consistent as possible. I want to thank Josh for being here as well and just having this conversation with us. He'll be on in the future as well.
Thank you, Josh. Good to have you.
Yes,
as
indeed.
Always.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad I could be your first guest, and hopefully we'll have.
And also the last. Get out here now.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, again, thank you for listening, and we will talk to everyone next time.
Bye.